Hi everybody, my name is Pixie and I'm an ISA surf instructor living in El Salvador. I'm running surf retreats out here for women. We have amazing waves, and the retreat we have in November is a time where it's generally like 2 to 3 foot, so perfect time for a retreat and to get loads and loads of waves and improve your surfing. So I hope you'll join me. But this video is about, I'm giving you my top 10 tips for how to catch a perfect wave, okay? So tip number 1 is to establish where the peak is of the wave, okay? So in El Salvador we're really lucky because we have point breaks everywhere. This means the waves are breaking in pretty much the same point every time because it's hitting something that is consistent under the water, like rocks, or maybe from the side it's hitting a cliff as it comes in, so it peaks and breaks in the same position. So you head out for that point, and once you get out there you might see another surfer taking off and he or she is in perfect position. After they move, you move yourself into that position, and then you do something clever. You turn around and you look straight at the beach and you find a marker, okay? Your marker is something that doesn't move, so maybe it's a tree or a certain building, and you always line yourself up with that, so then you know that you're always going to be in line with where the peak is, okay, for the takeoff. So that works with point breaks. With beach breaks it's a bit more difficult because the sandbars shift underneath, so with the different tides it'll shift around a little bit, but generally speaking you can see the area where waves are taking off at least for that hour to 2 hours of your surfing session. Hopefully you'll be in the right area, so just see where the other surfers are. Also make a note on land if you can. So when we've established the area of the peak, now we need to pinpoint exactly where the peak is on the wave as it's coming through. So what you're looking for is a darker patch on the wall of the wave. This is because just before the wave is breaking, it's peaked up like this, okay? So the sun is coming through and it's creating a bit of a shadow on the wave. Alright, so you can always see a little bit darker than everywhere else is going to be where your peak is, so the point where it's breaking. So then you're going to ride either right or left from the peak. So when you're sitting in, looking out as the waves are coming in, you're establishing there's the peak, and then you paddle out towards it and you turn around just in front of it to catch the wave, okay? So that's really important. Number 3, when you're going to catch the wave, be 100% committed, okay? This is more of a psychological fact, which we have a lot to do with surfing because we always have our mind getting in the way. Just absolutely go for it. I have to tell my students this again and again because you can have a lot of doubt. Am I in the right place? Am I in the right speed? Is somebody else there? What's going on over here? Like, you've got to just shut all that out. As soon as you start paddling for that wave, you say to yourself, I'm going for this wave, I'm going for this wave, I'm going to catch this wave. It doesn't matter if you jump up to take off and you fall off, you've committed to it. And then you're going to realize that if the wave smashes you a bit, that it wasn't that bad, and that also gives you confidence to get the next one and the next one, the next one. So just go for it, be 100% committed. Because if you're not, and you have moments of doubt, as it's picking you up, you're like, oh no, I don't think I can, you know, that's when things go wrong, that's when you're going to crash. You know, just commit in your mind 100% that I am going to take off and go for it on that wave, okay? So that's my number 3. Number 4, kind of along the same sort of mentality, but the reason I'm bringing this up is because I have it time and time again with my students. If there's other people in the waves, which there most likely is, some of my students get worried, like, what if I hit somebody, if I don't know what I'm doing? They're very much in their head. Fuck everybody else, okay? I say that in the nicest possible way. If you understand surf etiquette, which the main thing is when you go to take off on a wave, you look over your shoulder at the peak. If nobody else is taking off closer to the peak, it's your wave, all right? You have priority. Then, for the entire stretch of the wave and the rest of the beach, even if people are on the inside, it is your priority. They have to get out the way, okay? You cannot be worrying about what everybody else is doing. And people will move out the way. So you just have to do your own thing. Just focus on you and the wave. That's it, right? There's enough to deal with in surfing. We've got enough to learn. It's a lifelong journey of learning about how to improve and how to get the most fun out of your waves. So just fuck everybody else. You can't be worrying about it, just focus you and the wave, okay? As long as you're doing the right thing with surf etiquette, and sometimes you might drop in and make a mistake and then you have to apologize, but most of the time you can pull off at the last second. If you see that last glance, oh, somebody else is already on it. So as long as you're using surf etiquette to get on the wave, it's your wave, so fuck everybody else, okay? Don't worry about them, because if you're worried about everybody else, you're never going to catch a wave. And that's the problem, right? So, number 5. Here we come to the takeoff point. So if I'm going right, I will angle my board on the takeoff as I go to pop up at 1 o'clock. So the beach in front of me is 12 o'clock. 1 o'clock is my takeoff to go right. So if I'm using the same clock, if I'm going left, it'll be 11 o'clock, all right? So if I do 10 o'clock, the board's too much of an angle, okay? So as I put my weight down, it's gonna flip, all right? So you still want enough of the board to be picked up on the wave, but you just want that little bit of angle to help you as you pop up and go along the side of the wave. Sorry about the other noise going on, it's live. And I don't want to do this video out in the blazing hot sun, it's the middle of the day. So, 1 o'clock going right, 11 o'clock going left, alright? The way you get into that angle is pretty easy. So I am getting up speed as the wave is coming behind me. As it picks me up, we go into number 6 point, which is 2 more paddles. The most important thing anybody can ever tell you with your surfing. When you think you're on the wave, 2 more paddles, okay? Because we want to be just in front of the wave. We want the wave pushing the back of the board, pushing us along, okay? If we don't do those extra paddles, the wave will crash over the top and keep going. It might take us for a bit, but it's going to finish early. So you really want to drive your way down the face. So when you're launching in with those 2 power paddles, and they've got to be really strong, you move your arm back. Here's my first paddle, and as I do that, I cheekily move. My ribs and my hips are attached to the board as I'm lying down, and as I move my arm like that, I pivot my board just that little bit of angle that I need for that takeoff to get me in the right direction, that 1 o'clock angle or that 11 o'clock angle, okay? So use your power arm of your paddle, it tilts you to that angle, and then you're ready to push off, okay? And by doing that also, you've already engaged a little bit of your rail into the wave, so it's helping you as you go down, because you want that rail dug into the side of the wave as you go along, okay? So, here we are. Angled our takeoff. Last strokes, 1, 2, angle the takeoff. As we get up, we need to look in the direction of the wave where we're going, okay? If you look down, you're gonna go down. Your head is the first thing to tell the rest of your body in which direction you're gonna go. So if I'm going right along the wave, I'm gonna show you now I'm goofy, so it's gonna be on my backhand. If I'm going right, I'm gonna look up first on my takeoff, then the legs come through, and as I look, the upper body is then turning, and then I'm gonna go along in that direction. So it's the same for if I'm going left. Here's my takeoff, I'm catching the wave, I do my 1, 2, and spin the board slightly as I take off. Engage the rail, looking along the wave. So look along the wave, jump up, off you go, okay? Woohoo! So, as we're coming down the wave, my next tip, number 8, is put the weight on your front leg, okay? You want to drive, you want to keep that speed and momentum going. You're either taking off at such an angle that you're cutting straight across, or you're going down and into your bottom turn, depending on the wave and how you're surfing. But what we want is that forward momentum. We want to keep that speed going. And so as long as we want speed, we have our weight on our front leg, okay? When we transfer weight onto the back leg, it's to slow down or to pivot and turn, okay? So in surfing, the weight has to be on the front leg. So you'll see in surfing videos when people take off, they're really launching. Our arms are the last thing to come up, and all that weight is on the front leg. And next one is number 9, we're staying low, okay? So my weight's on this front leg, off I go in that direction. And by bending the knees, by keeping low to the board, we have much more control of the surfboard, okay? If we go straight up, we will fall straight off. We want to keep the low center of gravity, okay? So stay low on the board. And number 10 is smile and enjoy, okay? Remember it's fun, enjoy the moment, enjoy the drop, woohoo, off you go. Like surfing is meant to be fun, okay? So keep that in mind. So with all of these, I know it's overwhelming, there's lots to remember. What I tell my students is, as we're working on 1 or 2 things throughout the session, you will keep those 1 or 2 things as a mantra in your head. So for some people, if it's their pop-up is great, they're getting the right position, they've already found the position of the peak, the next thing is going to be their head direction. So what I'm going to say to them is looking and weight, okay? So that would be looking left and putting the weight on the front leg. So anything you can drill into your mind. Okay, so you're waiting for the wave and you're like, okay, looking, weight, all right? Because it's step by step. When you've already got the other steps, they're already drilled into your subconscious, so you're doing it automatically. So once you've got something down and it's automatically happening, so I'm not thinking about it anymore, I go on to the next thing that I'm learning. So I use those 2 things to repeat in my head, okay? So I hope this helps. I hope you'll come and join me on my surf retreats, and have a great day. Enjoy your waves. Bye.